And in the spirit of transparency, I'm wondering if you have a story about when something that you were working on or at a different company you've been at got through all of these holes in the Swiss cheese model.
Yeah, exactly. This is a very good. This is a very a good point. So one story is that I mean I cannot disclose the company and the person involved, but I was directly involved in the team. But basically, the problem was the whole problem was we had one outrage inside of our platform that we did not recommend anything for our customers for 17 days in a row. So it means that all the customers that accessed or recommended recommendation systems got the same recommended the same services or the same catalog and over. So because of that we lose I don't know more than tens of dozens of thousands of euros for sure because of that. But this is one of the points. So this is the whole problem, and this is what happens. And the one point that I include in my presentation is that, and I think this is a very, very good thing. Most people can think about this kind of latent factors or latent conditions or active failures, but some people can think, why not just fix the problem and move on? You know, like just fix the problem and move on. But the problem with this approach is that, for example, local fixes in some point of the time sounds very good, sounds very productive. And some companies have some kind of this concept of messiah, you know, like the company faces some kind of outrage in their recommender systems or inside of your scoring platform. And we have only the savior that are going to enter inside of the machine and solve the problem itself and so on. And this sounds good and this is nice, but the problem is that it's not transparent. So what's the root cause of this problem, you know? And the problem that I faced, for example, was we use this AWS ACS as a container tool for container. But the problem is that the application, as we make the refresh of the applications of the items during some period of time, due to some kind of increase of the size of the database, these containers got out of the memory, and because of that, we just use, and as we have this kind of promotion, so we just make the promotion after all the objects being refreshed. So we stayed with the same old objects and over. And the quick fix for that is just increase the limit size, you know, the memory limit, you know, like quite easy, super cool. So just double that and that's it. But if we go through this problem itself, it's not only this memory problem. So the problem was why we choose ACS because for example, was a very bad architecture decision. So we should go for another platform that we discussed, for example, Airflow and Kubernetes, that give us for grant some kind of aspects in that kind of problem. But this is another story. But this is one of the problems. The second one, the person that implemented this ACS solution did know how to work with the ACS before the project. So basically, this was actually the case of resume-driven development. So the guy just wanted to learn about this ECS solution and just implemented that. And the third factor is that we had one increase in terms of the volume of items, and this increase was because some kind of market campaigns that we made, and basically the people start to increase their demands for more products, and this is was some kind of active failure that occurred during this process, for example. And the fifth aspect, for example, can be the lack of observability. So we did have, for example, in that time, we had the application production, but we did have, for example, some heart beating to know some kind of application performance monitoring, for example, to check if we are dealing with the refresh data. We didn't have, for example, logs to identify that. We didn't have any kind of alerts to that, for example, can measure, that have some kind of measure, for example, okay, the diversity of items being recommended, for example, this can be a metric that we can monitor. So, and if we just think in a very simple way, was only the out of memory error in the ACS cluster. But as we can go deep, there are several different factors that align and created this perfect storm. And I think the main takeaway of this very bad situation that occurred to me, for example, it's that um, we should have a mindset not to gardening problems or cultivate problems, but actually solve the problem. So instead to be driven to do only this kind of local fixes, like a very random fixing stuff. Have some kind of mentality of continuous reform, like see the aspects that are increasing the latent factors that can lead active failures, and address them. So it can be by postmortem, can be inside of their sprint, no matter what. So, and the perfect analogy that I have for that is that instead to keep sweating against mosquitoes, like if you have some kind of mosquito problem at your home, instead to kill each mosquito once at a time, just go to the swamp and kill and just destroy the swamp where they breed. So you're going to solve the problem.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. That is it's a great use case and a great explanation to show us how this actually happens in the real world and what repercussions it can have.